have a sit-down interview with a man whose company specializes in security for places of worship. But first, here's a look at the AIB Interfaith calendar. Welcome back to AIB News. Joining us now is Lieutenant Charles Rambo. He's the owner of a security company that specializes in faith-based security solutions. Lieutenant Rambo, first of all, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Now, I had a scripted question for you. Before I get to my first question, I have to know, Rambo, is that your real name?
That is my honest, given, born name from God, obviously is needed in the 21st century with everything that's going on in the world now.
I suppose so. Tell me a little bit more about Rambo Solutions. What do you do?
Well, Rambo Solutions, foremost, is a training and development corporation. What we do is we assist law enforcement agencies in training, management, as well as coming up with change management theories to support better law enforcement systems in the 21st century. Second, we do executive protection for different entertainers, business leaders, politicians. And third, we just incorporated this, what we're going to talk about is faith-based ministries in terms of how to protect your church in the 21st century.
Okay. And tell us a little bit about why would a place of worship need protection of the type that you provide?
Well, when you think back, church bombings, church burnings, when we look back and we think about even, at Ebenezer Baptist Church where someone stood in the doorway and shot Mother King and she simply played the organ. Things have changed since that particular time, and crime is getting to be more technologized, and people are becoming a little bit more ruthless in their modus operandi. And anytime your church makes more money than most businesses do in 1 week, in one particular Sunday, you definitely need to put parameters around that particular business, because basically the church is a business now.
Tell me a little bit about your background and what qualifies you to be this specialist in faith-based solutions when it comes to security.
Well, I've worked in the constitutional office of the sheriff, 18 years in law enforcement, corrections, as well as court services. I've done a lot of executive protection details, special operations, trained by the United States Secret Service and Department of Homeland Security in specialized executive protection. We have done numerous details for different companies in Atlanta, bringing them results. And we want to take this approach and help protect the constitutional right of people who simply want to come into a house of worship, to come in and enjoy that in peace. We have a lot of crime that is happening in the church. So our company is the first to step forward with a comprehensive approach, both for the protection of pastor and for the protection of the infrastructure of the church.
Can you give me an example of a specific challenge or problem that a lot of places of worship may be dealing with and need help from your company?
Well, down to the most minute, even though it's just as serious, parking lot thefts. Thefts of cars, thefts of personal property from out of cars, and even up to the point of death threats towards the pastor. We've hit recent incidents here where you had shootings there inside of churches, shootings inside of parking lots that left fatalities. You have opportunities for, again, internal and external theft of your proceeds from congregational offerings. The theological and the sociological importance of the church is just bringing a whole different diverse crowd there. And we have to think security conscious in this day and time.
Now, I noticed on your website you talked about specialized training for faith-based facilities. I mean, wouldn't the training be the same for anything else, or how does it differ for faith-based?
Well, it differs in faith-based because obviously you want it to be low-key. You don't want it to be outright, but you do want the element of surprise to let people think that they're going to try something. All of a sudden they have a host of security angels, if I could say, that come out of nowhere and can deal with the problem in a very professional, prompt manner without disrupting the service. But it is very much needed. And what we bring is a homeland security concept to the church, but still to keep it in the parameters of not interrupting what the purpose of worship is for, but to protect that right while the people in the congregation are there.
Okay, it's very interesting work, and now I do see why you have the name Rambo. You're right, it fits perfectly.
And people know that when Rambo is there, they're not going to try too much foolishness.
I bet. Thank you so much, Lieutenant Rambo. And if you would like more information about Rambo Solutions, go to their website, rambosolutions.com.